What's going on, everybody? It's Jake from Jake Makes Everything. Today I'm going to do a little something different. I'm going to show you guys exactly what I'm cooking instead of just giving you a recipe, but the recipe will be down below. And this is going to be all one take, so bear with me. So today, what we're making karaage with some fried rice. Karaage is pretty much just like a Japanese version of fried chicken. It's pretty much like chicken tenders over there. They have it at every bar. It's a really like bar staple food. They typically serve it with mayo, but we're gonna have ours over fried rice. So what I've already gone ahead and done is the chicken that I have had this marinating for about 3 hours. It's been marinating in sake, soy sauce, togarashi, which is like a Japanese chili spice. There's been some garlic. I added some ginger and a little bit of olive oil in there. After 3 hours, I took it out and I breaded it in some potato starch with a little bit more of the togarashi seasoning, salt and pepper. So that's going to be what our chicken is. For our fried rice is going to be carrots, onions, green onions, frozen peas, eggs, and then of course our white rice. And then in a couple minutes, I'm going to go ahead and start frying all this chicken. Check back in a little bit. So first step for the fried rice, you're going to take one small cooking onion. You're going to throw that in the pan. In addition to the onion, you're going to add 2 cloves of garlic. This stuff right here, it's already pre-minced. It's really, really time saving, but if you do have the time, go ahead and chop your own garlic because nothing beats freshness. So we're going to add, that's about 1.5. We're going to add 1 more clove of garlic, so that's 2 cloves of garlic with our onion. And I just went ahead and added a little bit of butter to the pan. We're sauteing them in butter. So we're going to saute these until fragrant. Should be about 5-6 minutes. Let's get all that going. Get our fan going. Let's turn our heat up a little bit. You want to hear that sizzle. And we put the onions and the garlic in first just because we want the flavors to build from there. We'll put in the carrots, the peas, the green onions later just because those take a little bit longer to cook, but we really want these onions to be nice and soft. It's okay if the carrots and the peas have a little bite. It just helps out the texture of the rice. Alright, so it's been about 5-6 minutes. The onions and the garlic is a little bit more translucent now. I added a little bit of olive oil. So now we're going to go ahead and we're going to add our veg. So this is 2 carrots chopped and diced, and it's about 1 bundle of green onion chopped and diced. We're just going to add that to the pot, or pan. And then we're also going to add, half a cup of frozen peas. This is just going to be our base for our fried rice. Let's see, yeah. So cooking is an art and baking is a science. So that's what I live my motto by. So you don't have to measure everything out. You just go until you think it looks like about a half a cup. It's about a half a cup to me. We're feeding 4 people, so I think that'll be fine. Come back in another, I think we should cook this down for another 5-6 minutes, and then hopefully our rice will be done by then, and then maybe we'll be cooking our chicken by then also. Alright, now that our veg is starting to cook down a little bit, we're just going to add a pretty generous amount of salt and pepper, you know, the basic seasonings on anything. One thing I can tell you about salt, do small increments and taste as you go, because you can't take salt back out of things. It's okay if it's a little peppery, but you know, you don't want to add too much salt and have something be salty. So we're adding a pretty decent amount. I'd say 3 tablespoons of pepper, 2 tablespoons of salt. Alright, so when you're frying chicken, obviously you want to use something that's cast iron or enameled cast iron. This is a Dutch oven. They conduct heat really well. So if you come in here, and then another good tip to see when your oil is ready, if you can see how it's kind of like moving around in the pot without anything being in there, it's just a good indication that it's really, really hot and ready to go. Another good tip to see if your oil is ready, if you have wooden bamboo skewers, if you put it into the oil and it starts to bubble a little bit, that's when you know you're around the 350, 375 mark, ready to fry. Alright, so our oil looks like it's up to temperature, so we're going to go ahead and fry this chicken. Whenever you're working with hot oil, obviously be careful because if it overflows, it could start a grease fire, so just be careful when you're frying something. A good rule of thumb is that you can see where the oil level is, but when you start to add things, the water and the gas is going to escape. That's what makes it bubble up. So add things one by one just to see where the oil rises to before you go dumping everything in there. So when you're adding big pieces of chicken like this, these are bone-in, skin-on chicken thighs. What you want to do is you want to lay them in away from you. You see that oil, or you see that bubble that we got going on? That's exactly what we want. That's mean that the skin and the meat's getting all nice and crispy. So I think that we're going to have to do these in batches of 3. So I'm going to add 1 more. We're gonna turn the heat down just a little bit. And let's add this smaller one. Perfect. Since these are bone in, it's gonna take a little bit longer than if they had the bone out. So I'd say about maybe 12, 13 minutes. These will be nice golden crispy. Obviously everyone's fry, everyone's oil is gonna be a little different, but just keep checking on it. It's more of like a feel thing. You can take it out and cut it open to make sure it's cooked all the way through. But once you do that, all the juices escape, and you have to put it back in the fryer, and then you lose that nice golden brown crust. All right, so the chicken's been in here about 3-4 minutes. As you can see on the top, it got a little too golden brown too quickly, but that's okay. Never fear. Like I said, cooking is an art. You can finesse things. You know what I'm saying? So I turned the heat down. I flipped the chicken. We were probably running the oil a little too high, but I turned it down. You don't want the oil too high because then it's going to burn the outside and it's going to still be raw on the inside. You got to hit that sweet spot. First batch is always really hard to judge, but after you get that first batch going, second batch is going to be a lot easier. So check back in like 7-8 minutes and we'll see where we're at. So I'm making 2 cups of rice because we got 4 people eating. Just follow the instructions on the bag of rice. Typically it's 1 cup of rice to 2 cups of water. So 2 cups of rice, 4 cups of water. What we're going to do is we're just going to add this right into our veg. Yeah. Let me get the rest of it out here. Alright. So this wouldn't be fried rice without an egg, so we're going to add 2 eggs and we're going to add some sauces. Check back in a couple minutes after I saute it for a little bit. Alright, so we got the rice nice and incorporated. We're about to add our eggs. And then we got 2 other ingredients to add. We're adding some oyster sauce. It'll give it color, some body, some nice edamame flavor. And then we got the soy sauce. That's all, you know, everyone knows soy sauce. Can't have fried rice without soy sauce. So we're going to add our eggs. We're going to add our eggs right into it. Let me crack another one open. Let me give you that one hand shot. Right in there. And then you can use a fork or you can use the same spoon. You're just going to scramble them up real quick. Let me show y'all what that looks like. Let's see what we got going on over here. So yeah, just scramble it up. Turn the heat up a little higher than you normally had it. Once you get that nice scrambled consistency, you just mix everything in together. Looking good, looking good. Giving some nice color to the rice and the veg as well. Beautiful. And don't worry, for all those people out there that don't like runny eggs, it's gonna clot up real nice. Not even gonna be able to know that it's in there. We went from white rice to a nice yellow rice. Just gonna make it more richer, give it a little bit more flavor. All right, last 2 ingredients we're adding. Calls for about, let's see, 1/4 cup of soy sauce. We don't measure in this household, we just eyeball it. So let's see, we're gonna call it that much soy sauce. And then we got the oyster sauce. We're gonna call it that much oyster sauce. So 2-to-1 ratio, use more soy sauce than oyster sauce, just because this is a little bit more strong. Not a whole lot of people like it. I personally love it. It makes the dish for me. All right, so there we have it. That's our fried rice. It's got a nice brown color to it. What you can do now, and what I like to do, if you're gonna take your heat, and if you put it up to medium high to high heat, it's got enough oil and moisture in it, and at this point, don't stir it around. You want the bottom to be nice and crispy, and you want the top to be the same texture that it is. That way, when you go to serve and you mix everything together, you get a little bit of bite with some crisp to it, you get a little bite with some chew to it, everything's gonna turn out great. So now if you come over here, our chicken has been in here for maybe 10 minutes, and as you can see, it's looking deliciously golden brown. I haven't been doing too much to it. I've been turning it every now and then just to make sure we get that nice golden brown color on all sides. To me, these are bone in, so it might be getting a little too brown for some, but trust the process. I'm saying leave it in here for about another 2 to 3 minutes. So the chicken's been in, give or take, 12, 14 minutes. I let it go a little long just to be safe. So now we're gonna go ahead and take these out. Look at that. Obviously you wanna use a slotted spoon or a spider. Put them on a towel-lined baking sheet. If you had a wire rack, that'd be better, just because you could drain off even more oil. Nice, beautiful golden brown color. There's number 2. All right, number 3. And then the tip with fried chicken that I have, obviously season your flour. That's number 1. That's what's going to give it the most flavor. But the second tip is immediately after it comes out of the fryer and it's still a little wet, just get a little bit of salt, sprinkle it over, a little bit of salt. At this point, less is more because you've already seasoned the flour, you've already seasoned the chicken, it's been marinating. And then this right here is going to be the secret weapon. This is Karaage spice. It's pretty much assorted chili pepper. In my opinion, it kind of tastes like the Japanese version of a lemon pepper wing. So we're just going to sprinkle a little bit of that on each piece of chicken. There we go. Alrighty, and then that is going to be the Togarashi fried chicken with stir-fried rice. I'll show you the recipe down below, and then I'll also have an awesome picture for you. Thanks everyone for watching, and if you don't mind sharing this on Instagram, Twitter, or Facebook, my website is Food for the Soul with Jake. I'm Jake, and thanks everybody. I'll see you next time.